All right, homie, you good to go.
All right. So once I was done with my little stint in YA, I got out, man, and I was like, I kind of had like a low status because when I got back to the hood, people who had been in YA with me or people who had other individuals that they knew that was in YA was hearing about what I was doing, so it kind of like it elevated me like to a status to where like now I'm not just being ordered around. Now I can low key call orders on other people. Like I'm still not above my older homies. I'm not above my big homies, but I'm way far ahead of motherfuckers that's my age, especially motherfuckers who ain't never did no time or ain't never been to YA. It's like you don't really have no juice like me. Like I really been in the trenches where ain't no guns, or you might end up on a unit where you the only person from your hood and you got to squabble like 6 or 7 homies. Like that develops a lot of reputation. Like in reputation in the gang world, in the street culture, is worth more than gold, diamonds, any type of money. Like you could be dead broke, but if your name carry weight, you the richest motherfucker on the yard. Period. That's just how it go. Like I know some motherfuckers that they not even known by nobody, like on a superstar level. They're not celebrity Crips, they not celebrity Bloods, but their reputation goes so far that the people that are from their hoods that got all the money and all the fame, they can have them took out. Like, okay, you famous, you on TV, you rapping or whatever, but you still not nobody like me. Like reputation is a big thing in the gang culture. And once I developed that reputation, like it made me start to think different. Like it made me start to think like, okay, I'm young still, but I'm not a kid no more. Like I need to start thinking like a boss. Like, okay, I can't do little kid shit no more. So now it elevated me to where I'm like, before I used to be happy with just flipping a double up or some dope. Now it's like, okay, I need zips. I need zips because I have a certain image that I'm trying to uphold. I have a certain lifestyle that I'm trying to achieve and a reputation that I'm trying to back up. And I can't just say that I'm this type of individual without nothing to show for it. So that made me start taking more chances for the money and bigger chances for the money. And I can say that some of it is motivated by me trying to uphold an image, but I think a lot of it had to do with what I have been through. Like I have been through so much and I did so much and came out on the good end that I was like, man, that's nothing. Like it's time to turn it up. So I started robbing shit. I started robbing the dope man in the hood, robbing liquor stores, robbing gas stations, and just trying to put it together, you know, buy a little bullshit car so I can hustle out of and start living out of motels. I left home, started living out of motels because I'm like, man, you know, I'm not fully grown, but I feel like I'm grown enough that I need to make my own way in the world. And it caught back up to me because I was moving too fast. And even though I felt like I was doing everything right, it caught up to me too fast, and I came right back to jail. And then I ended up doing my first stint in the pen, and I went to L.A. County Jail. And it's the saying about L.A. County Jail, the state is statewide, it's countrywide, and it's probably worldwide too. When you're talking to people about prisons, they'll tell you if you can make it in L.A. County Jail, you can make it anywhere. And I found out real quick that shit is true as fuck. And I went to 2628. That was 2600, 2800 was the first unit I went to. And as soon as I got up in there, it was like a family fucking reunion. As soon as I got in there, I saw all my homies. And it was like maybe like 30 of my homies in that module. And just to put that into perspective, in regards to how big the modules are, you're lucky if you land in a module with like 5 or 6 of your homies. But I had like 30 homies in that motherfucking, and they were getting people pulled because basically what they do, it's called a demo, where when the fish line come in with all new people, if any enemies come up in the unit, they line them up for phase. As soon as you catch your phase with the homies, they like, okay, they go get at the the deputy sheriffs, and be like, okay, look, we want to demo this guy. Basically, we're saying that this guy is agreeing to leave to go to a module where all his homies are so that we can get one of our homies pulled back from that module. And 9 times out of 10, when we pull the homie from that module and come over there, he going to have black eyes and busted lips the same way we about to send his homies over there to them. So we was in there doing all kind of shit, and that was back when they didn't even have cameras, before ACLU came through and put all those cameras in CCB, criminal courts building, and before they put all the cameras in the county jail. That's when you was getting your ass whooped by enemies, you was getting your ass whooped by the blacks, you was getting your ass whooped by the Chirenos, and you was getting your ass whooped by the police. Hold on. So it was a lot of shit going down in there. Like, when we go to court, the homies, we would usually tell our public defenders or our lawyers, if we was lucky enough to have a lawyer, we would always schedule our court dates for the same day, because you just didn't want to go to court by yourself. Because if you run into enemies, the cardinal rule is, if you go to court with an enemy and you don't squabble your enemy, you come back and the homies find out you're getting BP for not fighting the enemy, and then when the fish line come in, the next 3 enemies that come in there, you're the first one to fight them. So to stay ahead of all that on the back end, motherfuckers just do their shit whenever they go to court. And it's been times that I done went to court and got into melees inside those little fucking holding tanks with the homies and with enemies where I didn't think I was going to come up out of there alive. Where there's no cameras, the police don't give a fuck, and everybody in there got slashers, knives, and, like, it's real life up in there. It's real life up in there, for real. Like, and I think that this is something that everybody on the streets needs to hear, because a lot of people don't like to talk about this shit on the phone with their bitch or with their mama or with their kids, because they don't want them to worry. But I think this is very important for people to hear stuff like this, because if they knew just a fraction of the shit that we go through in jail, like, I think it would cause them to be more empathetic to our situation and cause them to be more proactive when it comes to, like, voting for different laws that affect their family and their friends and their brothers and their sisters that are incarcerated, because it's really hard to survive in here. Like, I remember one time I was in a county jail and a riot kicked off, but we're in cell living, and you have the whole tier with 6-man cells in it, and sometimes they try to say that they house us evenly racially, but they really don't. Like, they'll put you in a 6-man cell, and it'll be 2 blacks in there and 4 Southsiders. And I was in the cell. It was me, this dude from, I think he's from 11-8 Gangsters, this nigga Herm from 11-8 Gangsters, and another black dude, and he was like kind of like a whitewashed square nigga. Like, he wasn't from nowhere. He wasn't really trying to get into nothing. I don't know what he was in jail for, but it wasn't nothing serious. And it was one Southsider in the cell with us, and a riot cracked off. But the way the riot goes, if you're in a cell like that, it's like a bunch of little individual fights in every cell. So it crack off. We hear rumbling all down the tier. Everybody yelling down the tier like, man, go up, get cracking, take off. So we all sitting there and we looking at the Southsider, and the Southsider, he's Spooky J. He looking like, man, what the fuck is this? What are they gonna do to me right now? And I'm looking at her and I'm like, bro, we gonna kill this dude. If we all just get up and beat the shit out this dude right now, we gonna kill him. And then we looking at each other for a second, and then it was like we both had the same exact thought at the same time, and we was like, if it was us on the other end, they'd do it to us, and we beat the shit out that nigga up in there. We beat that motherfucker bloody, because that's really what it is. Like, if it would have been us, because they follow orders. With blacks, we're more like lenient as far as like what we can and can't do. Like, there's very few rules in jail that are like mandatory with blacks. The only rules that are mandatory with blacks is don't snitch, don't do no buster shit and turn down no fade, and don't have no case involving no kids. Other than that, blacks pretty much have leverage with what they can and can't do. But with the Southsiders, they take orders and they follow orders. If they orders say, get that motherfucker, they gonna get you. No matter how many gates they gotta climb, no matter how many doors they gotta kick in, they coming to get you. So a motherfucker gotta return the favor. But we beat the shit out that dude, and oh my God, I can remember what else. We had another riot in the shower, and they came in there and sprayed us down. That shit fucked us up. The spray hit us, came down. That's the most painful sensation ever, to have pepper spray all over your entire body, like your face, your arms. That's nothing. But when it start hitting other little areas that don't be exposed to the air like that, like, it makes you think twice about doing shit enough to get sprayed. I can remember times getting beat down by the police for nothing. I came through, this was after my first time coming to prison, but I came through the county jail getting processed, and I remember I had some clean-ass Air Maxes on. They was like gray, suede, with patent leather on them, with the air bubbles. They was dumbass clean. And I seen the trustees, which are like inmate workers. They work in processing, they collect their clothes or whatever. And he's telling me, like, oh man, those are some clean-ass shoes. And I'm looking at him like, come on, bro, like, you sound thirsty. Like, these are just regular Air Maxes. You just all over these motherfuckers like they some ones or some nines or something. Like, these ain't nothing. So I don't even think nothing about it. And then after I take all my clothes off and put them in a bag with the property card, I'm in County Blues now, and I'm sitting down waiting to get processed in by the nurse. And the same trustee that was on me about my shoes, this nigga walks up on me with the bag held up with a big-ass hole ripped in it, talking about, oh, man, what happened to your shoes? So I tell him, like, what you mean, bitch-ass nigga, what did you do with my shoes, nigga? Because they was in that bag, nigga, and you was the one that was on them before. So I'm like, bro, you need to go get my shoes. So he get back at me like, oh, man, well, you need to watch your tone and calm down because that ain't got nothing to do with me. I said, yeah, okay, well, look, this how we going to do this. And I got up, walked all the way around the little partition and started wearing this nigga out in processing. And in processing, like, that's unusual. Like, they really don't fight in processing in the county jail because that's where all the sheriffs be hanging out. Like, it be like 30 police, and something about the LA sheriffs, I don't know why, even the skinny ones is yoked up. They all big as fuck, like they went to go audition for the NFL or whatever and didn't make it, so they was like, fuck it, we gonna be deputies. And I beat the dude ass, and the police, they come like, man, get down, get down. I lay down on the fucking ground, and I look up to the side, and right at the last second, I see this motherfucker pull out his pepper spray, and he sprayed me. And they cuffed me up and whooped my ass. And one side of my face was on the ground. So they whooped my ass so bad that I really literally looked at like Two-Face. One side of my face was all fucked up and the other side was regular because it was to the floor.